The goal for this video is to show you how to create the beginning pages of the documentation for the drawing files. We have so far accomplished in creating the steel ring, nose cone, aft bracket, the forward bracket, the aft fin, and the forward fin. So there's two other documentations that I want to show you, and that's the full assembly view and the exploded view. So let's go ahead and get started. We will begin by creating a new sheet. And that sheet, we're gonna rename it as assembly view. Okay, so I'm gonna hit the check mark. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna be putting in the assembly. So let's go ahead and insert view, insert. Okay, now on the left hand side, you will see all the different parts. But if you want to insert an assembly, please make sure that you click on assemblies. And then we'll see the assembly right here. And by default, if it's to 1/2, it's going to be really big that we have to minimize to 1/4. 1/4 should be able to fit the front view of the rocket the way that it looks like. We'll put the top view of the rocket. And we're going to click so we can show the right side view of the rocket. Now, sometimes we do it like this, or sometimes we may just show the assembled rocket, just like the way it is right here. So there's no dimensioning to this. It's just the way that the project will end up looking. And I'm going to go ahead and right click and show shaded view. Okay, that creates a nice little rocket. And technically, it would be nice if we have this as the first page. So if we just want to slide this one above all the other ones, this one technically should be page number 1. Okay. And yes, it would be nice if we had what the steel ring has, which is the title block on the very first page, but we'll just go ahead and leave it like this for this time. Okay, so we have the assembly view. And so the next page that we want to do is the exploded view. We don't have an exploded view done, so we're going to have to do that ourselves. So to start off, let's go ahead and go into the fuselage assembly. Let's open this one up. Okay, you'll see our fully assembled view. Once everything has been constrained, there's no errors over here, then you have 3 menus on the right-hand side. The first one is the bill of materials table. The second one is the configuration panel. And the third one is the exploded views, which is what we want to do right now. You'll see that once we do the exploded view later, we're going to have to come back to the bill of materials table. So let's just do the exploded view first. And since this is the first time that we're doing an exploded view, you're going to see that the only option you have is, well, you can learn about it, but you can only add it an exploded view. So the exploded view gets us started, and until you're done with the parts, then you can click on done. Otherwise, if you're still manipulating on separating these pieces to make it look like an exploded view, then just go ahead and leave that open. Do not click on done until you are done so. All right, so to start us off, it's really easy to start doing an exploded view. It's just maybe a little bit more preferential if you can just zoom in and out in this direction and not twist this so much. The only major recommendation that I'm going to give you is that you're always looking at this from the isometric view. So that's going to turn it around a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to zoom out and I'm going to click on the first one, which is the nose cone. Now, when you start disassembling this, it would be a huge advantage if you could first click on the part that can show you a vertical view. Because let's say if I didn't and I started clicking over here, yeah, you can move these little fins out, but it's going to be more at an angle. So better choose that one, and then you can add more views or more parts to it, like this one and the fin and this other side, this bracket and this other fin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this one up. And as I do that one, I can see the distance right here. Hey, how much do you want to move this up? I don't know, you can move this up 14 centimeters if you wanted to, right? Or maybe more, or maybe less. So for right now, let's just try that one, 14 centimeters. I'm going to press the check mark. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to deselect this portion right here. And I'm going to move the parts that are left. So I'm going to move these up. And I'm going to move those up another 14 centimeters. Our goal is to separate all of these parts so that none of them are overlapping each other. So you can tell that these parts are not touching anymore. Okay. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to remove these little fins. So I'm going to click on one. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this down. As you can tell, I need to remove them out of the little hole. And yes, I guess technically you don't have to, but if you ever created an animation of assembling this together, you know that these are being held by the peg. So it's only a little bit more natural to bring them down a little bit. Let's just say -1 centimeter or -2. Let's just do 2. Check. And then let's just bring it out afterwards this way. And we can go ahead and put 4 centimeters. Check. Let's do the same thing for this side. Let's bring it down 2 centimeters. Check. And then we're going to bring it out this way, 4 centimeters. Okay. So all these parts have been separated. That's excellent. Now, I am not going to be doing all these separations because it's just a little bit redundant, but I will show just one little ring. So I can move one ring up, and yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it at 7. And that's going to be perfect because none of these parts, as you can see, they're overlapping. All this part right here has been completely separated. Now let's go ahead and do these over here. Click once, click twice. Both of them are going to be separated. Let's just move it by 5 centimeters. Okay. And then check, deselect the bracket and move this one. Oops, go back over here. And I'm in a different view. Let me just select isometric. There we go. And sure, we're going to leave that 3 centimeters. That looks perfect. So if you ever wanted to go back to these measurements, like what was the previous one? If you double click on 8, that was 8. The last step was 3. 5 and 3. So now I can go ahead and do so because I need to select this one now. Click, click. Let's bring it out. And let's take a look at the isometric view to see how it's looking. Okay, if I did 5 centimeters, yeah, I think 5 centimeters would be enough separation so that it's not overlapping with the fuselage. And let's, oh no, I deselected it. Let me go back over here. So I deselected it before clicking OK. So now I can click here and deselect it. Let me go back to the isometric view. And let's move this another 3 centimeters. Is that what I did the last time? Check. What was it? Yeah, 3 centimeters. Check. Okay. So all these parts have been separated. None of them are overlapping with each other. That looks great. Now we can click on done. And when you click on done, everything comes back together again. No issues there whatsoever. So now I'm going to go back to the drawing sheet. And I'm going to be adding a new sheet. So open your sheet menu and then click on new sheet. And since I was working on the top one, it's going to create sheet 2. And we're going to rename this one Exploded View. Check. All right, let's bring in our assembly. Insert, view, insert. We're going to go to assembly, and we are going to click on the fuselage assembly. We will minimize the rocket to 1/4. And this is the full assembly. Now we want the exploded view. So we're going to change it from default. We're going to change it to explode 1, which is the file that we just created. And this is still on the front view. So we're going to change the orientation to isometric. Perfect. Now we're gonna, let me see if this will give us, yeah, it won't give us the shaded view. So we're gonna have to drop it. And we're gonna have to right click, show shaded view. There we go. Okay, so it looks kind of empty right now. And what we're gonna add, if you look up here at the menu, there's these things that are called the callouts, and then we have the table, and then we have the bill of materials table. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on bill of materials table, and we're going to put that one on the top right corner, just like that. So this table right here is going to give us sort of like a key of how many parts are here and what the parts are. In this case, it says part number and description. So what do we do with this? There's 20 of item number 1. Well, what is item number 1? So what we're going to do is we're going to have to start doing the callouts, or I call this, and many other people call this balloons. So we're going to do a little balloon callouts. And it starts off with making sure that you put the balloons on the outside area. If you can be a little organized about that, that would be even better. So for example, when you're putting the balloons, you try to get the outside edge, not any of the inside edges like here. If you do choose this one, make sure that you don't go through the object like this. That would be wrong because now the arrow is stuck inside the object. So instead, try to choose the outside so that your arrows are on the outside. So that would be item number 6. If I do this over here, this would be item number 4. And try to keep your callouts, like leader lines, always at an angle. So in this case, we have item 4. This is item 3. Let's take a look. Okay. Let's do this one. 6. Let's do the nose cone. That's a number 2. Let's do one of the rings. That's 1, and there's 20 of those. And let's do the aft fin and the aft bracket. Let's do them on the other side too. Aft fin, aft bracket. Okay. I don't think we're missing any other than all of these steel rings. I just have one representative for that. All right, we're done with our callouts. If you need to move these balloons or these callouts so that they're a little bit more aligned, you can go ahead and do so. So now, what are we going to do with this table? Because right now it's not telling us much. So we're going to have to go back to the assembly. And I told you we were going to come back to this one over here, which is the bill of materials table, or the bottom. And here we see that same little box that we were looking at before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on the column, right where it says part number, and click on remove column. Description, right click, remove column. And I'm going to add a column, and I'm going to add the one that says name. All right, so when we click somewhere else, now it's giving us some important information. The steel ring, there's 20 of those, 1 nose cone, 1 left forward fin bracket, 1 right forward fin bracket, 2 aft fins, 2 forward fins, and 2 aft fins. Sorry, this was fin brackets. So this table is more meaningful to us now. Now let's go back over here to the drawing, and we check, and it's not popping up, right? So what we need to do is we need to click on this little yellow, which is an update. So we need to send an update from any changes that we made. And there we go. This table has been updated. One of my recommendations is that you try to keep the lines the same width. So I'm going to open these up. Maybe we need to open more over here. Now these have 2 liners, but if we open these up, there we go. And let's squeeze that. There we go. Quantity and item. There we go. And that looks great. Well, that's it for now. And this is pretty much the conclusion of our drawing packet. So the last thing that I would recommend that you do is put these in the same order that you have them over here. So we're going to leave steel ring as the next page, as page number 3. The next one would be nose cone, which we have here. And then we have both brackets, 3 and 4. So we should move this one up then. The forward bracket is first. And then we have the aft bracket. Oh, refresh to continue. Let me put pause here. Okay, let's see what happened. Okay, so once again, it was steel ring, nose cone, and then the forward brackets should be next. So let me put the aft afterwards. Aft afterwards. Okay, that's cool. And then the forward fin. Okay. And then the aft. Well, why is the bracket? The bracket should be before over here. Okay, forward bracket, aft bracket, forward fin, come on, Forward fin, let's deselect it. Now let's bring it up. There we go. I think a lot of it has to do which ones you have selected. And it does have a little cow if you have multiple selected. So make sure that you click it to deselect it. So there we go. Nose cone, forward brackets, aft bracket, forward fin, aft fin. So I'm just following the same order. If you have a different order, please put them in the same order that you have them on your bill of materials box. Okay, then that's it. Everything should be in order, page 1 through page 8. Thank you very much.